two houses, same street, same week they both moved in. The first one get a fresh coat of paint every spring, a landscaper twice a month, and a driveway that always has something new parked in it. The neighbors call it the nice house. The second one still has the original paint from 6 years ago. A lawn the owner mows himself on Saturday morning, and the same car sitting in the driveway since anyone can remember. Here's what nobody on that street knows. The owner of the second house paid off his mortgage 5 years ago and hasn't worked a real job in 6. The owner of the first house refinanced twice just to keep the landscaper coming. This is the part that quietly messes with people once they actually find out. It is almost never the house you would point to first. Real wealth stopped trying to look like anything a long time ago, and over the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly how to spot it anyway. So, how does someone end up sitting on real money while looking by every visible measure completely unremarkable? We have been trained over whole lives to read wealth off the surface. The paint job, the car, the driveway, the vacation photos. But surface signals are the easiest thing in the world to fake, and the people who actually have money figured that a long time ago. Here are 8 signs someone is genuinely rich. The kind of rich that shows up on a bank statement instead of the driveway. Before we get into the list, there's one principle that ties every single sign together. So hold on to it. Wealth is not what you make. Wealth is what you keep and multiplied by time. Someone earning $300,000 a year who spend every dollar of it is not wealthy. They are just running a very expensive treadmill. Someone earning a completely ordinary salary who keeps a steady gap between what comes in and what goes out and lets the gap grow for 20 or 30 years end up in a completely different universe. Every sign on this list is really just a different way of protecting that gap. So, sign number 1, the invisible buy. Ask most people what they bought in the last 10 years and they will rattle off cars, phones, renovations, vacations, things you bring photograph. Ask a genuinely wealthy person the same question and you will often get a shrug because their biggest purchase wasn't a thing at all. It was a percentage of every paycheck redirected before it ever touched their checking account. Think about a woman like Leah who worked as a pharmacy technician for 19 years. Nobody at her job would have guessed she was wealthy. She packed lunch, drove a Corolla with over 150,000 miles on it, and never once mentioned money at work. What she did instead, starting at age 26, was set up an automatic transfer the day she got her very first real paycheck. 12% gone before she saw it. Straight into a retirement account. She never adjusted her lifestyle to account for that money because she never let herself see it in the first place. 19 years later, that invisible purchase had grown into a number that made her manager's jaw drop when it accidentally came up during a benefit meeting. The people obsessed with looking successful are buying things they can show you. The people who are actually successful bought something you will never see, like a future version of themselves that doesn't have to worry. Sign 2, silent on the numbers. Here's something wild. Ask a genuinely wealthy person what their monthly expenses are, what their net worth is, or what their portfolio returned last year. And most of them can answer within seconds, almost to the dollar. Ask the person driving the flashiest car in the lot the same question, and you will usually get a vague guess or an uncomfortable laugh. Real wealth requires obsession tracking behind the scenes. It just refuses to advertise it. There's a difference between someone who knows exactly what's happening with their money and simply doesn't discuss it, and someone who avoids conversation because they genuinely don't know and don't want to find out. The first person is quietly building something and the second person is hoping nobody asks. This is why the wealthy tend to go completely silent whenever money comes up at a dinner table. It's not because they don't have an answer, it's because they have the exact answer and sharing it invites comparison, judgment, and awkward requests they would rather avoid. So, silence in this world is usually a sign of confidence, not confusion. Sign 3, the smaller house. There's a specific kind of trap that catches almost everyone at some point. A bank looks at your income and tells you the maximum house you can afford. Most people treat that number as a target. The genuinely wealthy treat it as a warning label. Consider a couple, Leah and John, both mid-level government employees, nothing glamorous. The bank approved them for a house worth $520,000. They bought one for $290,000 instead, in a perfectly ordinary neighborhood with perfectly ordinary neighbors who had an idea what John and Leah were quietly doing with the difference. Every single month, the gap between what their mortgage would have been or what is actually went straight into a brokerage account. Over 18 years, at a completely normal market return, the gap alone grew into a several $100,000. Money their neighbors who bought the bigger house never got the chance to build because their bigger house was busy eating their income in property tax, heating bills, and furniture for rooms they barely used. The house that looked impressive from the street is very often the reason the people inside it will still be working at 70. The house that looks unremarkable is very often the reason the people inside it retire at 52. Sign 4, fix it, don't replace it. Walk into a genuinely wealthy household and you will often notice the furniture is old. Not falling apart, just old. The blender is 15 years old. The couch has been reupholstered once. The winter coat has a small repair near the zipper that nobody bothered pointing out because nobody looking that closely anyway. This isn't about being cheap for the sake of it. It's about a completely different relationship with cost. Take Jack, who bought one solid pair of leather boots 11 years ago for what felt like an outrageous price at the time. He resold them twice. His co-workers have gone through 6 or 7 pairs of trendier boots in that same window, spending more in total to end up with less. Cheap become expensive the moment you are forced to buy it over and over again. And the wealthy learn that lesson early, usually the hard way, and never forget it. What's looked like frugality from the outside is often just math done correctly. A good thing bought once outlasts 3 cheap things bought in a row, and the person who bought once quietly keeps every dollar the other 3 purchases would have cost. Sign 4, the untouchable fund. Ask around and almost everyone will tell you they are supposed to have 3 to 6 months of expensive saved. But very few actually do, and even fewer keep it somewhere that actually working for them. The wealthy doesn't have the cushion. They have made it structurally impossible to wait for anything except a genuine emergency, and they have parked it somewhere earning real interest instead of sitting nearly dead in a checking account. This shows up most clearly the moment something goes wrong. A transmission dies, a roof starts leaking, a job disappears without warning. For most households, any one of those is a 5-alarm crisis because there is nothing behind them to absorb the hit. For the genuine wealthy, the same bad news gets met with something close to boredom. Not because they are unbothered by bad luck, but because they built a wall around exactly this kind of moment years in advance, and the wall is still standing. That calm isn't a personality trait, it's an engineering decision made long before the crisis ever showed up. Sign 6, strict on small, generous on what matters. Here's a pattern that surprises people. The wealthy will spend 20 minutes on the phone getting their internet bill lowered by $15 a month. They will compare insurance quotes every single year without fail. They will question a subscription they forget they were paying for. And then, in the same week, they will spend generously and without a second of hesitation on something that genuinely matters to them, like a parent medical bill, a child's education, a once-in-a-lifetime trip with someone they love. This looks contradictory until you understand the logic behind it. Every recurring, invisible expense that provides zero actual joy gets challenged relentlessly because those small leaks compound into enormous losses over decades. Every meaningful expense that actually improves our life gets paid without flinching. Because money was never the point. It was always just the tool. The person who negotiates their cable bill but also flies across the country without blinking when their siblings needs help isn't being inconsistent. They are being extra about what matters and what doesn't. And most people never drew that line clearly enough to benefit from it. Sign 7, at peace with saying no. This might be the hardest one on the list, and it's also one of the clearest tells. The genuinely wealthy have practiced saying no to things that doesn't matter to them, even when everyone around them is saying yes. Think about Sarah, who turned down a destination bridal shower 3 states away because it doesn't fit her budget that particular month, and said so plainly, without a long apology or a made up excuse. Her friend assumed she was going through a rough patch. But in reality, Sarah had a completely healthy financial picture. She just refused to let a group chat dictate her spending. That single decision, repeated dozens of times over a decade, is a huge part of why Sarah's account looked nothing like her friend's account today, even though their incomes were nearly identical the whole time. Saying yes to everyone is expensive, and it's expensive in a way that never shows up on a single receipt. It shows up 10 years later as the gap between the people who kept up appearances and the people who kept their money. Sign 8, no need to be known. This is the sign that ties every other one together. And it's the hardest to fake because it isn't really a behavior. It's an absence of a behavior. At some point, a genuinely wealthy person simply stopped needing you to know. The performance that costs everyone else so much money and energy, like the car, the label, the trip posted at exactly the right angle, start to feel pointless to them because they are no longer trying to convince anyone of anything, including themselves. What replaces it is something you can't photograph: the ability to leave a job that's slowly wearing someone down without panicking about next month's rent, the ability to help a struggling parent without it becoming a household crisis, the ability to take a random Tuesday off with absolutely nobody to answer to. That is the actual finish line, and it looks like nothing at all from the outside, which is exactly why almost nobody recognizes it when they see it. So go back to that street, the nice house with a fresh paint and the landscaper twice a month, and the plain one next door with the same car sitting in the driveway for 6 years. You already know which one the bank statement actually loved, and it was never the one the neighbors pointed to first. Every single sign on this list point to the same uncomfortable truth. Looking rich and being rich pull in completely opposite direction. And the people who actually get there almost always stop chasing the first one a long time ago. If even one of these hit a little close to home, that's not a big thing. That's usually the exact moment people start changing course. So, which one of these did you already know deep down, and which one do you still need to work on? That's genuinely worth sitting with for a minute. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.